Welcome to Saturday, 3 p.m. New York City time. We're just gonna be snacking today. I'm not really planning on cooking anything unless I get hungrier than my snacks can satiate. I don't foresee that happening because yesterday I was in the Washington Square Park area and I went to this relatively new supermarket that opened up called Tashkent, and it specializes in like a lot of Slavic food. And I bought some smoked fish and this dark rye bread, I think with sunflower seeds in it. I hope it's the right one that I asked for. But and some cheese. And you know, just other snacks that I bought today too. I got some discounted, close to sell by date Japanese snacks. So we have this like shrimp head chip. It like literally the first ingredient on the back of the bag is shrimp head. So I think these are just shrimp heads coated in flour and then fried, and then this is a cheese flavored one. They also had a salt flavored one, but I was like, queso. I can't turn down queso. And then I got, this was 99 cents for the small bag. Apparently it was like 3 or 4 original price. And then I got some of these rice crackers. Oh, never mind, it's wheat cracker. Wait, sorry. Potato flour. This is so many things. Ingredients: potato flour, starch, seasoning, salt, palm oil, seaweed, shrimp powder, modified cornstarch, amino acid, paprika. So it's just like a very thin, wafery rice cracker. My period is probably going to hit next week, so I have to stay away from like ultra fried foods like this, but this was such a rare treat that I needed to try it, and it was discount. Also, I just noticed that the back of the bag says healthy by ethical, like, okay, if you say so. I don't know about shrimp heads deep fried in wheat flour batters healthy or ethical, but I also don't read Japanese and I have no idea what is covered up by the import sticker, so that's what that bag says. Yeah, everything is in Japanese here. This has a sell-by date of the 13th, and this has a sell-by date of the 15th, so I was in Astoria feeding my friend Devin's cat Tuna, which you met last year around this time. I was cat sitting her for a month, like, in this apartment. But I went to see her and feed her today and grab these on my way back. So we'll just be snacking, but unfortunately the allergies are really bad today. I already took a shower just to wash off all the pollen, but my eyeballs are killing me right now. I also have really dry eyes, so I'm gonna grab my allergy pill and my eye drops, and I'll be right back. We're gonna pop a pill. This isn't a jam jar because I think, oh gosh, 2 years ago, Aaron bought like a packet of 300 pills, and I was like, can I have some? And I asked for 30, like a month's supply, to see if it would work for me. But he ended up giving me this much, which I feel is closer probably to like 100 pills. So I've been eating them about 3 times, 4 times a week. I heard that that's not what you're supposed to do with antihistamines. I heard you're supposed to take them on a routine like a vitamin, but I just don't feel like popping that many pills in my body. I also don't trust anyone anymore, including medical professionals. So you can say that I have gone full anarchy in my life, just like in my life functioning, which may be a bad thing, but maybe a good thing. But maybe what is good and what is bad, like, who knows at this point? Hello, June. from the Philippines. Um, and these are my eye drops now. I have painful eyes. My eye doctor last summer told me I should start using eye drops. Um, and she like recommended this really expensive brand that was like $25, and I was like, I don't think I need it. I need it now. This isn't as expensive. I think this was like 12 bucks off of Amazon. I bought the biggest dropper possible, which at the time was just 1 fluid ounce. Let's see if I can get this in. So, this eye on top of allergies is killer. I went outside with a mask, without a mask on at first, and I just started sneezing and congestioning and slobbering, and I was like, noted. So on my walk back, as an experiment, I put my mask back on. No sneezes. Still a little bit of a runny nose, but that happens when I wear a mask anyway. For some reason, maybe it's the condensation, maybe it's like the trapped humidity, maybe it's like the warm temperatures. Wearing a mask usually makes my nose run, but no sneezes. So masking does help me a lot during allergy season. That's a tip for y'all if you also have allergies. And thanks for joining me. I would also like to learn how to sew. I was just thinking, actually, that I miss grandma because selfishly she used to fix and alter all my clothes. Like this skirt dress is so long, and I get it, like aesthetically it looks very nice. It makes me look a lot taller than I am. At least my legs look longer because of the way it's tailored and how it falls all the way to my feet, but it's really hard to walk in this. That's as far as my legs can go. So if grandma were here, I would have been like, hey grandma, can you slit this slit even higher for me? Unfortunately, she's not here. Speaking of grandma, my grief has reached a new level, shall we say. There is no up or down leveling in grief. I think it's just a different floor of this building that you're in, and you're just traveling among these floors. You kind of are just riding this elevator, and I don't know if you can consciously be aware of which floor of grief you're traveling to at any given time, but sometimes you travel to a floor and ding, the elevator opens and you walk out into the floor, and it's either the floor of numbness, the floor of the great flooding of emotions, the floor of oh, if only I, guilt. And there's many floors to this building. And sometimes you're just chilling in the cafeteria eating, and those days are nice, but not all days are like those days. But I have finally started to cry. I think after grandma passed away, I was in that kind of like functional freeze period where I just had to get bureaucratic shit done, like figure out what to do with her body, how to get the paperwork to close her accounts, all that stuff. And then almost immediately Memo became really sick, and we thought he was going to die. So I think my attention went to Memo for the next 2 months basically, but now it seems like even though Memo's not like a super healthy boy, he's holding steady. And grandma's accounts are close to being completed, at least in the US front of things. There's more shit to do, I think, on my uncle's end in China that I might have to help with, but I have noticed myself becoming more easily teary-eyed, and I think the functional freeze is kind of melting away a little bit, so that checks out. The timeline checks out. It's been about 4 months since she passed away. I noticed that my mom's death took me about 4 months of just numbness too. So what I expected really out of this grief processing is that once grandma passed away, I would then more fully, more comprehensively, and more connectedly process my grief from my mother's passing as well. So that might be happening. I don't know what's happening in my own brain. Strangers to ourselves, are we all? And I'm just kind of observing, you know. I think my second shroom trip really taught me that there is a benefit to just observing yourself go through a meltdown sometimes. There are different selves. They can balance each other and help each other and support each other at different moments in your life. And that is what I'm doing. There's not much else we can do. So let's snack. I also have to put away all my jars. I washed everything and I did not get a chance to put them away yet, so I will do that too. Oh, it's time to play What's the Right Lid? Man, I don't know how this happens. Sometimes I just lose a lid or lose a jar and I'll have a lid. But it's weird because I've thrown nothing out. So how can I be missing something if I didn't throw anything out? Mind-boggling existence, y'all. It's kind of like the missing socks in the laundry. The other week, I washed all of Memo's bedding and linens, and a piece of fabric just disappeared. It was like a piece of fabric I had laid out under his meal plate to catch food scraps, because sometimes he likes to eat on the bed. So I've started a habit of like laying down a soft piece of fabric underneath his plate to catch all of his, meal droppings. Just disappeared. Have no idea where that piece of fabric went. Like, what happens? What happens to these things? Very curious. Okay, let me show you what I got for snacking on. said yesterday, I went to Tashkent supermarket. You can see it on the label here if my camera gets close up enough. Is that in focus? Yes. So that's where I went. And I got some cheese. This is a tomato olive Gouda. I haven't heard anybody else say Gouda. Is it Gouda? I guess we're in America. It's kind of like people say croissant and they don't say croissant. Even though memes do. That's funny. And then I got 2 forms of smoked trout. So we got cold smoked trout and hot smoked trout. And I wanted to try the difference between these two. I don't actually know if you can eat them raw. I suppose it would be better if I cooked it and safer. But I don't think I will. Famous last words. And I got this bread. Hi, Daisuke. You should watch a movie. This is gonna be pretty boring, I think. I got this really brown bread. He asked me if I wanted it sliced, and I said no. And it is whole because I knew I wasn't gonna be eating it last night, and I wanted to keep it as fresh as possible. And this small loaf was $2.50. It's heavy. It's a heavy piece of bread. Can you see it? So it's like a little brown loaf. Ta-da! And it's got sunflower seeds embedded in it. It just looked really good. So I think we're gonna slice up some bread, eat some cheese, eat some fish, eat some snacks, eat some more cheese. Let me show you what I've been doing with my cheese rinds. That is probably the only useful thing that I learned off of Instagram that recycles TikTok. And I'll catch you up on my life if you're interested. And if you're not, I guess you can tune out or talk to each other like you do. And that'll be our Saturday. Ta-da. This bread isn't really that crusty, so I don't think I need a serrated knife. Otherwise, I would totally be pulling out my serrated knife. Let's see. What is the framing here? So I will now slice it all up and I will freeze what we don't end up eating. I'm going to make a skinny slice. I think they usually slice it this skinny. And we can toast it up. This is what the loaf looks like inside. I just thought it was an awesome deal. Like, when I saw $2.50, and this is in Manhattan, pretty pricey neighborhood. So I was pretty surprised. But that's why we bought it. I so rarely buy bread because I like baking it myself, but I almost never find the kind of flour that you would need to bake this color of bread. I know it's supposedly like a rye or pumpernickel, but it seems like a specialty flour here. I certainly don't see it in everyday supermarkets, that's for sure. So I think I'm going to eat 3 slices, and we'll eat the end pieces. And then we have 11 pieces left over. So we got like 14 skinny slices out of that loaf, which I think is pretty nifty. And I'm only eating 3 slices because I want to cook off some pancake batter that I have in the fridge that was left over from earlier this week. So that needs to get eaten too. And bread actually keeps really well frozen. And I always like to have sliced bread on hand, just in case I need to prop up a spice for newsletter material and whatnot during the week. So this will go back into the freezer as like a prop, I suppose. Oh yeah, and we still have our sausages that I got from Parrot that I ate on a previous live. You could eat this too. They're fine, but because they were in the fridge for 2 weeks, they started molding on the outside. But I have a coworker who used to work at a butcher restaurant shop, and she said that if it's white mold, usually she's not too worried about it. But if it's black and green, yikes. So it was white mold. I washed it off, I rinsed it off, I dried it, and then I froze the sausages. And I have eaten them since then, and I am still alive, so I think we're good. No worries about that. Okay. I would like to use this pretty plate that I thrifted probably a month ago, and I don't know if I've ever showed it off to you, but it says Aladdin Temp-Right Excel USA J427 4199, copyright 1990. So this plate is almost as old as I am, or at least their copyright is. I don't know when this was manufactured. But yes, my counters are a mess. Please excuse the mess, or not excuse the mess, but I think we should toast the bread. What do you think? Okay, in the meantime, I would love to show you what crazy thing I've been doing with cheese rind. So if you have a hard cheese like Parmesan, or in this instance, this is a Piave. It says Piave Mezzano. I don't know what kind of cheese that is, but I remember when I was in Italy with Aaron, we had a Piave and it was so good. However, you know when you get to the rind of this kind of cheese, it is really hard to eat. And yes, it is edible on this kind of aged cheese that is in fact all cheese. I asked my local cheesemonger, especially when you see it like stamped into the rind like this. But it's just like very tough to chew, and it kind of tastes waxy. And there is a slight layer, you have to peel this off, and sometimes there is a layer of wax underneath as well. But TikTok/Instagram taught me that if you air fry or microwave this, it turns into a cheese crisp. And indeed, it does. So that is what we're going to do while our breads are toasted. Okay, I'm going to leave the middle slice untoasted. I would like to see what the untoasted is, but we're going to toast the end pieces. That's going to be there. I'm going to put it on super low heat so it doesn't burn, and also put a 4-minute timer on there so I don't forget about it. Oh, I'm so happy that you saw those deeper videos. I think those videos put off a lot of people, but those who needed to see it seem to have found them. I'm glad you watched them. So I just put a piece of, this is butcher paper. It's kind of wax on the back, but if you have like parchment or anything, ooh, gosh, that was scary. I almost dropped the knife right into my foot. But if you have parchment or something that can absorb grease, definitely lay it down. There is a little bit of like a wax layer that I'll try to peel off. Or we'll just eat it, and that's fine too. But essentially, I microwaved it for like, I think 30 seconds, and it was perfect last time. So let's see if we can replicate that. Alright, I'll just eat the wax, that's fine. I wonder what that does to my internals. Ooh, that was snappy. This paper needs to come off. That's for sure not edible. I mean, I don't think it would kill you, but it's paper and it's got color on it. Okay. So I'm just breaking up the rind. Should probably get another piece of paper on here, huh? This has been in my fridge for like a long time. So I'm glad I am finally finishing it up. BRB, I'm going to throw this out. And so we just have like cheesy rinds here basically, and what I'm gonna do is put them in the microwave for, let's do 45 seconds and see what happens. I'm gonna put some ginger tea to boil. You ready? They got nice and puffy. I think they can go for a little while longer. Like this piece didn't puff out all yet, but this piece did. Do you see the difference in the structure here? Sorry, it's out of focus because I have too much of a background going on. But I do think we need more time in the freezer. This one looks fun. Or microwave, I should say. Okay. I should also eat a bell pepper because that's the only vegetable that is left in my house right now. Is that a vegetable? Oh, I lied. There's celery. I have celery. But I did buy 6 bell peppers from H Mart like last week, and I should eat them soon before they go bad. They're even puffier. Obviously, you have to let them cool a little bit before you can eat them. Um, and they'll get crispier as they cool. But yes, they really blow up and aerate themselves more than you would think. I might pop these back in just for a little while. I think the amount of cheese on here is overwhelming. This is very oily. Hi, Italy. Hi, Berlin. But let me crunch on some of these little baby bits. Yum. So if you don't like to use your rinds in, say, a soup, like a lot of food professionals put in their recipes, you can try this. My favorite way to eat orange, red, and yellow bell peppers is usually raw, but red is also really good roasted or blistered. I think green bell pepper is only good stir fried. Hello, Geneva. Okay. Here they are. Here are our Piave chips. And we'll just let them cool and crisp up a little bit more, and then I can give you a real ASMR experience. Oh, this one got a little toasty. I can smell the toastiness. Hi, Moscow. I have you on a bit of a lower angle today because this was where my tripod was set at. So I'm playing around with height, but cold smoked trout and hot smoked trout. Let's smell and compare. Oh, okay. Cold is way stronger of a smoke smell. Wow. Interesting. This almost feels like it's like sitting right on the surface of this, and there's just, if I could see gas, I could see like the smoke kind of looming off. That's how strong it smells, whereas this one is a lot more laid back. do. Did I just do the PC Richard jingle? Wow, okay. So this, I believe, was $10 a pound, and this chunk cost me $4.80. So this is like a good third of a fish, I would say. I don't know how big trouts are, but looks like I got the tail end of this guy. He's very easily flaked, as you can see here. Ooh, okay. Delicious, salty. It retains the textures, the fibers of the fish texture. It's like a really well-cooked fish, but salty and smoky and cold. Nicely flaky. Would recommend. I think this is a great price, especially in this economy. We said that as a joke, like starting 2 years ago. It is no longer a joke. Everything is expensive. So to get a piece of fish bigger than the size of my palm, already prepped and delicious for $5 is a pretty good deal. Looks like there is, on the cold smoked front, a little bit of a fattier edge piece. I might save that for cooking so I can like let that fat fully melt into whatever dish I'm trying. So I'm going to reach for this. I'm going to see if I can, oh yeah. So this would probably look way more beautiful if I, you know, sliced it like you would slice smoked salmon, thin, beautiful, but we ain't got time for that. So this is the cold smoked trout. It's already looking a lot more translucent. The fibers feel juicier and softer and more silky raw, basically. You can see how it doesn't flake as much, but it is getting like squished by my hand, basically. Very different texture. Like smoked salmon texture. The smoked salmon was like $18.99 to possibly $30 a pound. And the trouts were both 10 to 11 a pound. And honestly, yes, salmon is like slightly fattier and more creamy and delicious, but this is pretty good too. I'm actually gonna try some of the fatty end pieces and see if what it tastes like. Okay, that definitely needs to be cut. Just doing this very dangerously. Like, you're definitely not supposed to be doing this way. Please don't do this at home. Do not do this at home. Okay, we got a bit of the fattier piece from the edge. It looks like there's a solid chunk of fatty belly meat here. Oh, it's juicy. Oh yeah, it's very fatty. Woo! Okay. Need bread immediately. Mmm. What a fascinating flavor. I remember seeing last night on the bread placard that they put coriander in here, but it doesn't taste like coriander. What does that taste like? It pairs very nicely with the fatty fish for sure. I really needed that accompaniment, otherwise that that gush of fat, even though it's flavorful and smoked was too much. Wow. There's like a really strong, I think I've never had black strap molasses on its own, but I feel like this is what it might taste like, which is why a lot of people warn do not use black strap molasses in your baking recipes, unless your recipe specifically calls, because this is a highly medicinal flavor. Wow. And it's got a little bit of like sourdough acidity to it too. That's a fascinating. Wow. Huh. I'm not sure if I like that. Okay, here's our fish sliced like I should have done in the first place, but I was too lazy to. It looks beautiful, and we can use it on our toast. This one I might just snack on. I think this one probably doesn't need to be on bread because it's so flaky and not so like jelly-like. I feel like this one would pair really well with rice or lentils or no. Never mind. Just stick with rice and lentils for now. Or greens? Yeah, I think greens, like a salad or a stir fry. And I'm gonna chop up one of these little sausages too. Look how beautiful it is. All right. What else? Okay, our toasted bread. I'm also going to try our untoasted bread now, just on its own. Oh yeah, it smells like it tastes. It smells a little more sour than it tastes, but it smells exactly like it tastes. It's like a really aged molasses, almost bordering on soy sauce without salt content, if you can imagine that. That's what it smells like. And a little sourness. There's a hint of sweetness to it, but it's definitely more sour and more medicinal than it is sweet. Definitely a savory bread, I would say. But it could make for a very interesting peanut butter and jelly. If only I had peanut butter. That was everything that I got from Tashkent. Cheese is up next. But I'm going to look up the photo I took of the bread last night at the store and tell you exactly what was on it. Tell me if you can see that. Okay, so we got wheat, rye flour, malt, yeast, sunflower seeds, coriander, sugar, salt. I don't know what kind of malt they put in here, but that shit is strong. It kind of, I mean, malt could be derived from a number of grains, but it kind of tastes like this shit, which would match up to the color here too. This shit is so expired, it's not even moving in the jar. This shit was expired before I got fired from Delish, and this is from Delish. This says best before 2017. I'm going to keep this until it reaches a decade of life. I think that would be really fun. But this is barley malt, and you use this in making bagels or pretzels sometimes. Pretzel bath, or bagel bath rather. But that's exactly what that tastes like. Did I say caraway? The like almost off-putting but mostly just foreign to me flavor is probably the malt. It doesn't even say caraway in here. It just says coriander. I don't taste the coriander at all though. I was expecting like a floral coriander, but maybe I can crush some on later by myself. So, you know the store is legit because, like, only one person spoke English in there. Two, actually. Maybe three. But, like, English is not their first language. Some of them actually don't understand me at all when I was asking for certain things. I had to, like, point to things a lot, which I'm cool with. But definitely a very specialty store. Big cheese. Big sliced cheese. I'm glad he sliced it for me because they were going to not cut a wedge for me. They were going to cut like a slab for me. I didn't know that 4 slices of this cheese would be 1/3 of a pound somehow, and $4. This doesn't... I'm going to weigh this shit. That means each slice of this cheese is $1. I wasn't expecting that expensive of cheese. $155 grams with the wax paper. Now, if I take one slice away, that one slice was only 20 grams. What? That doesn't make any sense to me math-wise. Alright, well, this was way more expensive cheese than I predicted, but here you go. It looks pretty, huh? Tomato and olive Gouda. Nice tear. Let's see that again. Yes, love it. And again. Ah, beautiful. Smells creamy, smells like smooth and a little sour creamy, a little buttery, a little yogurty. Okay. It tastes like a butterier Swiss with a touch more salt. Not mind-blowing of a cheese, but I think it's gonna be good on this toast. Glad I tried it. I was staring at the cheese counter and the fish counter, and it was only after like 12 minutes of standing there without being helped that I noticed that they had a bell at the center of the counter, and you were supposed to ring the bell to get service, and I did not know that. So I was just like a dumb jerk who basically tried to make eye contact while they were working with their back turned to me to get them to help me. So here is our platter. I think I'd like a little bit of black pepper. It was 150 grams with the wax paper, so it is 1/3 of a pound. Ready? Here's the better view. That's my layered sandwich. And just pepper on top for now, black pepper. Mmm. Yum. I wish I had some greens, like either a little cilantro or scallion, maybe even a little crisp lettuce. But pretty good. Let me try to put some dried herbs on here. So we're going to try a little dill and parsley. This is no longer in stock, unfortunately. It's a limited run. And then we have Euphrates mint, which is going to be nice and refreshing. And then we have some scallions. I'm going to start with the scallions first. Don't actually know if this is going to achieve anything in terms of flavor, but we'll see. Oh, that smells so good though, the scallion. It's good. It's no fresh scallion in that it's like not spicy, but you get the oniony, the sweet oniony flavor really, really well through just dried flakes. Okay, for our last bite here, I'm gonna put on a sliver of our sausage. fish and the sausage are smoked. So good. I want like a little sauce on here, like a creamy mayo, but spicy. Okay, so hot paprika, this one is actually pretty spicy. It's almost as spicy as some cayennes I've tried. So I'm actually gonna put this mayo right on the bread because I feel like the bread is the driest part. And that's not what's holding this bite together. So we're gonna add a little bit of moisture in terms of mayo onto the bread. We're gonna add a dash of this hot paprika, just like so. So that's our toast. I'm just gonna taste this. This looks really good on its own. That bread is so rustic, it hurts my mouth. Oh my god. That's delicious. Kewpie has all the right creamy, sweet, oily, MSG, eggy notes to balance out the harshness of that medicinal blackstrap molasses taste. And then the smattering of hot paprika warms up the entire mayo sauce into something with a little more fire. So first you use the creamy sweetness of the mayo to cancel out the almost bitter medicinal vibes of the bread. And then you uplift the fattiness of the mayo and the sweetness of the mayo with a little bit of hot paprika, which is also kind of fruity but spicy as well. Everything is kind of just like holding hands together, and then the whole flavor profile of these three distinct elements kind of just form a triad, a throuple, if you like that imagery better. Sprats are between the size of an anchovy and a sardine. I find that sprats are a little smaller than a sardine, maybe like half the size of a sardine, but they are very, very common in these Slavic supermarkets. And I was ogling one of them yesterday, but I did not end up buying one, unfortunately. Okay, a little bite of fish. This skin is an issue. Very tough to chew, this fish skin. I feel like if you air dried or air fried this would be delicious as a chip. But as is, the texture makes this very hard to eat. Doesn't mean I'm not gonna try though. My god, a termite situation sounds horrible, I'm sorry. I would highly recommend eating this bread with Kewpie from now on. And it also provides great color contrast, just visually speaking. Alright, adding a slice of cheese on here with more hot paprika. Let's build more of these tasty sandwiches. Wow. Delicious. I'm also getting so good with my squiggles of mayo. Alright, folks. What have you been doing in this rather strange world we're in? Anything new? Anything fun? Want to tell us what you've been up to? While I stuff my face of delicious things as everyone in Gaza starves. I started posting food on my Instagram this week and immediately felt like, what the fuck am I doing? But I guess what I post on my Instagram doesn't change a thing, does it? I finished everything from Greece. I did not try the honey from Germany yet. I finished all the butter cookies from France, but I still have about a third of the packet of this biscuit. I've been like reserving them for late night sadness munchies. And I still have a tin fish that you got from Portugal many years back. Have y'all learned anything in the last year and a half plus regarding how our world works? Would you like to share? I'm not being sarcastic. I know my voice is a little monotone right now, but I'm saying things as I'm thinking them out loud. I think I've realized quite a few things that I did not realize before. I would love to know what your learnings and findings are. Ooh, joyful militancy. Interesting. Joyful militancy. Carla Bergman and Nick Montgomery. Okay. I think I might need to read that. Evie, hey. I've also made the decision to snack this week more than going to sleep, which I think has been the less healthy decision. I'm not going to say it was the wrong decision anymore because obviously I chose it. So on some level it was right. But I've noticed these past 2 weeks I'm like starting to inhabit some more of my like binge eating patterns. And now that I know not to blame myself for the behavior, but rather pay attention to it as if it's a clue to something else that's going on inside, I think there has been more stressors in my life these past 2 weeks. Work is one of them for sure, or just thinking about the meaning of work and the direction of work and what it plays in my life. And also this question that I'm posing to you all, trying to make sense of everything that I've been learning in the past year and a half, 2 years that I did not intend on learning, but I've learned through just observing our world continue as it does. I think there is some like really hard to swallow things in there. And also the increasing level of violent repression at colleges. Nothing new, right? We saw encampments in universities get shut down pretty violently by police forces last year too, but they're amping up again this year. So alums from my college have been trying to organize something, but organizing is messy and not everyone's on the same page, so I think that's also been a little more energy sucking. Everything's in my mind, you know, and I think the mind can only handle so much, and I think when my mind is overloaded, I need external stimulus, and that has for me defaulted in the form of food, especially crunchy things. I've been noticing that if I eat, no matter how much sugar or like candy or cheese I eat, I'm never satiated at night when I have one of these pangs. And I honestly feel like that might be because, sorry, I'm trimming my pepper in half horizontally, slicing it. So give me one sec. For I do not want to slice my hand. Okay, I sliced this piece in half, or rather it was assembled this way. I sliced this piece in half this way so that we can try to build a little sandwich with it. And I think just realizing why I'm binging helps me recalibrate on some level so that I don't burn out too bad. I think before I used to be really blind to the fact that my binge eating was signaling me to something that was worrying me, and now I'm more tuned in to what causes my behavior to lean a certain way. But yeah, man, it's hard. It's hard seeing all this shit go down. It's hard knowing what to do next. It's just hard. I'm gonna have a little fish skin pepper taco. Don't kill me. Obviously, it's not a taco. I do still work part-time for Burlap and Barrel. Obviously. I have so many spices. Burlap and Barrel got like mini canceled on Instagram this week. We haven't heard from our customer inbox or our Facebook forum, but on Instagram we got mini canceled because we launched this new blend. It's really delicious. Okay, do you want to hear the controversy? Do you want to hear it? And then do you want to give me your opinion on thoughts, feedback, directions to go next? I would love your take on it, because you know who I am and what I think and what I do, and I think a lot of you are aligned with me, so I'm curious to know your thoughts on all of this. We launched this new blend. It's a collaboration blend. We launch a lot of collaboration blends with Rick Bayless, who is a white guy born in Oklahoma City, and I think Oklahoma. Not sure if it's Oklahoma City. Anyway, fact check me on that. But he spent like decades exploring Mexican cuisine. He's won James Beard Awards. He has a Michelin star. He's written a lot of cookbooks. He's been on TV. But he's still a white guy, right? But he cooks Mexican cuisine, right? So we made this mole inspired. It doesn't say inspired on the label, which is why I think some people really freaked out. Mole inspired blend. It's really delicious. It has chilies and cacao and onions and sesame seed and pumpkin seed and sun-dried tomatoes. Anyway, all of that. But people freaked out. They were like, what the fuck is a mole rub? What the fuck is a Mexico City mole? What the fuck are you doing platforming another white guy in like for Mexican cuisine? And also mole, I guess, is a very indigenous ingredient and part of indigenous cuisine, and so we triggered quite a few folks with this blend. So it's been interesting to see the discussion unfold on Instagram, but based on the number of likes on the comments, for sure there are more people angry with us than not. um, so I'm curious, what do you think? Is this food appropriation? And did we do wrong? And how should we move forward? And do you want to hear the reason why we made this blend if you are feeling kind of miffed and incensed and WTF? I do miss the Boma Man cookies, Aaron. But those were the ones that I shared the most with friends. I think I only ate like maximum 2 packets of them. I think all the other packets went out to people. Um, Thank you for those. Those were really delicious. Siobhan, you said do not comply in advance is a big thing for you. Me? You as in me? Do not comply in advance. But yes, know when and where and how to resist properly is something that I have been learning. I don't think I've succeeded in finalizing that area of study yet, but continuously learning how to resist, when to resist, and where to resist, and properly what that means. Well, he did put effort in exploring the culture for sure, but this is definitely a bastardization of mole. Like, I think just us naming the blend mole rubbed people off the wrong way. Like, no pun intended, but also punny. But yeah, mole rub is not a thing. It's a very American thing. It's not a Mexican or indigenous thing at all, I don't think. But I'm also ignorant. And I actually didn't know Rick Bayless and the controversy surrounding him, mainly being a white guy doing Mexican cuisine and getting very platformed and popular for it. I was maybe like the only person on the team who went into this blind and was like, oh, this is happening when it started happening on Instagram. Yeah, a lot of people share your opinion, Jay, that this collaboration could have been with a Mexican chef, for sure. Would we have a Mexican chef create a mole blend too? Because we do work with chefs from various cultures, identities, backgrounds. So it's not like we only platform white men, you know, but this just happened to be a very triggery one, I think. Um, yes, a lot of people agree with you too, Karen, that we should have said mole inspired, right? I agree. Mole is usually a sauce, yes, but there are dry mole blends now. Um, Depends, right? There's various forms and recipes for mole. It's kind of like curry. Different regions have different kinds of mole. So yeah, the greater context of why we did this blend is Rick has a big platform and he was very, very enthusiastic about working with us on this blend. We also had these Mexican chilies grown. Uh, where were they grown? I went on that sourcing trip. My mind is blanking on the name. But somewhere, I think in like north central Mexico, pretty rural, pretty drought prone area. And we had this small batch of chilies and we were looking to make a blend. Rick was very on board. He spent basically his life cooking and exploring Mexican cuisine, and he was very willing to help us promote, which some collaborators have not been doing a great job of at all, like Martha Stewart, because she has so big a platform that she doesn't really need us, and that collaboration we really kind of fell flat on our faces because her team didn't help us promote it at all. Wouldn't even let us tag her or collaborate, post with her on Instagram. So when we found a chef who was passionate about both the food he cooks and using our spices to make a spice blend, we were all in, because the ultimate goal of Burlap and Barrel is to pay farmers more money. And in order to pay them more money, not only do we pay them more for the product they sell, but we also have to buy more product at a higher volume. And in order to buy more product, we have to sell more product to keep a sustainable business model going. And in order to do that, we have to expand our customer base. And Rick, with his platform and his enthusiasm and his enthusiastic following, was a good candidate to help us sell more spices, essentially. It always comes back to selling more spices. But this was a very controversial blend. So that's the rundown of. Okay, we're back. Hi. What was the last thing I said before I froze? Yeah, I know. We're in the new age now, you know? It's amazing. Okay, I'm going to try another new spice. Not new. It's not new. But purple dulse. Doesn't get used very often. If you like seaweed, if you like iodine, if you like pretty purple flakes, this could be a great spice for you. I've decided to go like full-on Truman Show today and give you commercial breaks with spice highlights, I guess. Not intentionally, but I just figured these toasts are a great way to show off how I eat, which is to try different spices every time. Because I guess I'm the one who's supposed to know what they taste like. Okay, I'm gonna pair the dulse with the mint. We got a little bit of ocean funk, and we got a little bit of breezy mint. And then got a little slice of pepper. And some sausages. Oh, paprika. Yeah, see? I do free ads. Like, I just found out that my coworker was very kind and forwarded me an email where a micro influencer who had like 21K following on Instagram had asked us for a partnership, and then she had a whole price list of what it would cost for her to post 3 stories, 1 grid post, 1 reel that lives on her feed. I guess some people post a reel and then delete it later after the sponsorship is done. And for this person with 21K followers, 1 grid post featuring the sponsored product would cost $550. Just this week, I thought I made a really delicious looking pancake stack that drizzled our smoked honey on there. I ain't getting paid out. You know, I do this for the love of it, so I better keep loving it, because once I don't love it, wait, the mint is so interesting with the smoked sausage and the bell pepper. That's a fascinating combo. I think the ocean flavors from the dulse, which is a form of red algae, aka seaweed, I guess. What was I saying? Oh yeah, the oceany flavors from the purple dulse really accentuate the smokiness of the smoked sausage. I can only taste the mint. I don't even taste the dulse anymore. Fascinating. All right, we have 2 little pieces of bitten bread. I don't think I can do influencing, because influencing means you have to take on sponsors that you might not like sometimes, or you can't like say anything that would offend anybody on your feed because you're a professional human ad. And I feel like that would just make me so miserable. There is no price for the ability to say what I want to say at any given time. Which is why I would never want to be a company spokesperson, because I would that would only happen if I were ever at a point in my life where I would be willing to lose myself. Meaning, I don't care to have any particular self anymore in my existence. I think as long as I have some form of like willful ego, I would not be able to be an influencer just because of the restrictions they would place on my everyday life, you know? Just doesn't seem like I could win at that job. Also, de-influencing is in, you know? Nobody can afford things anymore, so alright, we're gonna try the dill and parsley. I should have tried that when I still had fish on my plate, but I forgot. So this has mayo and cheese and sausage and dill and parsley. The dill and the mayo makes the bread taste so much sweeter. It's really fascinating how spices combined with fat, so I have both cheese and mayo on here, can really change the whole personality of a bite. Sometimes I taste the spices straight, and you can definitely taste the flavors, but they don't really like bloom and come alive until you've added fat in some form to combine with it. Unless that blend of spices already has like sugar and salt in it, but still, I don't think it blooms as well as it does in fat. I love this lunch. Ooh, got a little, got a little food stuck in my throat because I'm old. I'm getting to that age where I'm starting to form this new breed of regret, which is when I find myself committing the same behaviors, both involuntary and voluntary behaviors that my parents used to do, that I used to criticize them for or like laugh at them for. I feel both shame and regret for shaming them for doing what they did, and also like this like internal unfolding of shame that's like, oh yeah, this is you now, like you cannot escape your fate. My dad used to choke on his food all the time because he had this habit of talking while eating, and then obviously it would go down the wrong pipe and he would just like cough so violently, and I used to like roll my eyes and get so annoyed. And I used to joke about how it was because he was getting old. And now here I am, getting old way faster than my dad ever did. Okay, next up in our snacking fiesta. Our cheese crisps. Are y'all ready for this? Let's start with the baby one. But I feel like we need to like take a chomp out of this, right? I feel like it would not be a proper stream if you did not see me bite through this chunk. Ready? It's like a honeycomb structure inside. Okay, now we're gonna put spices on. Hot paprika. That wasn't the right spice. Shall we try our mole? I think it's gonna be really tasty. That's kind of a confusing flavor too, because there's cacao in here. So that was kind of the first note that hit my tongue. It's like the earthy chocolate sweetness. Wow, okay, that's interesting. Let's try so many other spices. Okay, but first I need a bell pepper break. Let's eat our vegetables. Okay. This is one of my top favorite spices. Possibly ever, because it's so addictive on snacks. It's just shallot powder, but it tastes like onion rings. Like both the Funyun ring snacks, the bag snacks, and also like a fresh fried onion ring. Mmm. So oniony. But I'm still having trouble balancing this flavor profile. Why is this so weird? I think it's because of the cheesy funk. I'm adding some cumin and coriander to this bite. Maybe something about the cheesy funk is really hard to pair with like earthier flavors. Mmm. This one worked the best so far. This, unfortunately, is also discontinued. But the cumin works well. Nice, smoky, sweet, herby. All right, dill and parsley for some green. Mmm. I think herbs are the winner. Green stuff with cheese. That makes sense. Cheese is like so, I mean, this kind of cheese is so European. I feel like it should go with more European flavors. That makes sense. Let's try some sun-dried tomato, just on its own then. Oh God. Okay, it is clumpy, but easily declumped. Mmm. That tastes like lasagna in a bite. That tastes like that's it. Is that lasagna or pizza? It's somewhere between pizza and lasagna flavored. That was good. I like the tomato powder with a little bit of herbs. I'm gonna try some tandoori spice blend. This has cardamom, ginger, clove, coriander, cumin, garlic, fenugreek, mustard, paprika. Probably not gonna be as good as the herbs and the sun-dried tomato, but just trying one more cultural flavor influence. No, that actually works. That tastes like one of the Indian snacks. They come bagged. They're usually made out of chickpea flour. Just like fried snacks, but they always have a masala mix in them. Very interesting. Wow, I haven't used this many spices in a while. Tomato is still the winner. I don't have something with celery seeds because Barrel & Barrel has been trying to source celery seeds forever and like can't find a good celery seed to source. Once we have celery seed, we could possibly make like an Old Bay version of a blend, but we don't have it yet. I do have culantro though. Not cilantro, but culantro. That works too. And then I have really old Za'atar. This is not Barrel Up and Barrel Za'atar. I bought it from like Sahadi's so long ago. So I don't know how old this is. Probably really fucking old. Mmm. That actually works really well. We're just gonna keep trying spices. I'm starting to crash though. This is a 5-spice sugar test blend. Okay. So sweet, 5-spice. Surprisingly, that works. That kind of tastes like a churro. You got the fat, you got the friedness of it almost. Then you have like cinnamon, but obviously it has many other spices besides cinnamon. I love the structure of this though. This is such a cool honeycomb structure. The spice of life, y'all. The spice of life. We got 2 new things in this week too. 3 new things. These are a relaunch. We actually have 3 flavors, but the 3rd flavor I gave away to my former pastry chef, Diana. I hung out with her yesterday and shot some food photos for her to help her own like little baking business page get a little more high definition photos, high res photos. But these are like flavored sprinkles. So this one is chai inspired, cinnamon, cardamom, ginger. This one is classic vanilla. This one is like, I would say the most vanilla of the sprinkles, as in plain. The 3rd one is rose. The rose one is my favorite. So if you like rose and you like sprinkles, we now have rose sprinkles. It's time. Healthy, ethical shrimp head. There is a lot of shrimpy flavors that just escaped from the bag. I have a bit of a delay on my end, so I have no idea what you're going to see until I stare at my screen for the next 10 seconds. But yes, you saw that. Okay. All right, let's see. Trying to find a good one. Oh, this one's a good one because you can see it's a shrimp head. Kind of. Do you see like the little mustachy, beardy whiskers that usually comes on a shrimp head? Wow. Huh. That is a thing, huh? That is a thing. The crickets of the sea. These are very nicely textured. A lot of air. Really perfumes the flavor of the shrimp and the seasoning into your mouth. The seasoning powder is kind of sweet, which is to be expected for an Asian bagged snack. I feel like there's always a little sweetness on the Asian bagged snacks. I like it. It's kind of like Cheetos, but shrimp. It's got like a very easy mac cheese powder vibe going. It's like a nondescript cheesy flavor. It's not even cheddar. It's not even quite American. It's just cheese powder flavored cheese. And I could definitely eat so many bags of this in one sitting. No problem. But due to the fear of the impact of too many fried things on my period pains, I will store these away and have just a few a day until I know for sure I'm not going to die from period pains. I have no idea what this says. I think this one means cow, which is roast. I think the rose sprinkles on top of a matcha tiramisu would be like extra ladylike. You know what I mean? It will give you that like tea time princess vibe with the matcha and the rose. Much less shrimpy in flavor, but a little bit oceany. It reminds me the smell of like the shrimp brains. You know what I'm talking about? Like if you suck the head of a shrimp, that kind of fatty, oceany flavor is what this reminds me of. I'm gonna make a mess, but for you guys, I'll do it. This shit feels like styrofoam. It looks like styrofoam too. And it sticks to the roof of my mouth a little like styrofoam too. I've never eaten styrofoam, but I can only assume this is what styrofoam would taste like. It sucks the moisture on my tongue enough to like stick on it. This is fun. There is a total of 8 discs inside. Not bad, not bad. I don't know, it's not very satisfying to eat on its own, to be honest with you. But maybe with something. I've been using princess non-genderedly, like Memo is a boy technically, but he's a princess, you know, gender roles. Matcha tiramisu with rose sprinkles on top feels very tea time princess to me. She's living her best princess life. This is great though. Now I have crunchies to snack on when I feel like snacking on crunchies. So what if we combined a little shrimp cracker with a little parm? Or piave crisp? What would happen? Your mouth would get cut up, is what would happen. Alright folks, I think I'm gonna hop off. Maybe I'll go read, maybe I'll go watch a movie, maybe I'll go take a nap. Thanks for joining me. Hope you're doing well. And hope we find a way to enjoy our learning even in misery. That's my goal. That's what I aim towards every day. It's also how I grounded myself when I'm freaking out to keep myself sane in very insane times. Peace and love and frozen grapes. Oh, wait. Say hi to yourself. And also, let's see what Memo's up to. Oh, he's not here. Where are you, baby? Oh, he ate his food today, though. That's good. Are you in there? Baby. He's in his little cubby hole. Let's see if he comes out. Will you come out, Memo? No? Oh, that's a bummer. All right, folks. Nice to see you again, and I hope you take care and treat yourself well.